Good morning, students. I hope you're all doing well. As you can see, I'm sending this video to explain the last thing we were working with, which was the locating horizontal asymptotes. Okay, so in the last class, we talked about, we copied these rules, let's say, and we never got to explain them. So I'm going to explain them, and then you're going to complete a few practice exercises. All right? So basically what it's telling us is, just like we already established in a previous rule, these are decreasing exponents, right? So we have the exponent of n, then n minus 1, so on and so forth, until we have no variable, okay? So basically just like x to the power of 3, x squared, x, then 0, an example. Now, what this is telling us is that if the exponent in the numerator, which is n, is less than the exponent in the denominator, then we're going to have a horizontal asymptote in the x-axis, or when y is equal to 0. Okay? That is what it's telling us with this number 1. So again, if our exponent in the numerator is less than the exponent in the denominator, we have a horizontal asymptote in y equals 0. Okay? Now, for the second one, it's telling us that if they are both the same exponent, let's say if it was x squared and in the denominator we also would have x squared, then the line y equals the coefficient of a divided by the coefficient of b is the horizontal asymptote of the graph. Okay, we're going to see an example of that pretty soon. And finally, if the in the numerator has a greater exponent than the denominator, then the graph has no horizontal asymptote. Okay? Now, let's go through the examples real quick, because my memory isn't... okay, there we go. So, in the first one, we have f of x is equal to 4x divided by 2x squared plus 1. So now, we go over to the rules, and what is happening here? We have that the numerator has an exponent that is less than the denominator, right? So the denominator in the exponent in the denominator is greater. That means that we're going to be using rule number 1. Hence, we just have a horizontal asymptote where where y is equal to 0. Sorry. Okay? So, number 1, we observe that the denominator has a greater exponent. Therefore, we just go straight to rule number 1. Right? Now, for number 2, or letter B, sorry, we observe once again the greater exponents, and they are both the same, right? X squared and x squared. What does it tell us? Well, it tells us that we're going to be using the second part of the rule, of the theorem, let's say. So basically, our horizontal coefficient will be when we divide both coefficients. Wait, sorry. Should say the horizontal asymptote should be where we divide both coefficients, right? Where, once again, the numerator is still the coefficient in the numerator. See, they're both a's. And the denominator is the coefficient of the one in the denominator. They're both b. So basically, we would have a horizontal asymptote where? Well, we would have something like this real quick. So y is equal to 4 divided by 2. Therefore, our horizontal asymptote would be in y is equal to 2, which would look something like this. So 1, 2, and there would be our coefficient. I mean our asymptote. Okay? All right. Now, finally, so we can keep this under 5 minutes, 4x cubed divided by 2x squared plus 1. We just see that the exponent in the denominator, the exponent in the numerator is greater than the exponent in the denominator. Therefore, we use rule number 3, and f has no horizontal asymptotes. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to ask me. Take care.